going on, guys? Just gonna let you tag along on this one. I just got to a call where we're having some issues with a compressor, so we're gonna go take a look at it. Alright, so I've looked over this. The compressor is definitely overamping and it's struggling to run. I had to replace the contactor on it because the bottom leg had pulled where it was overamping. It had melted and burnt one side of the contactor where the wire ties in. So I got that replaced, and now we're gonna replace the compressor and also the liquid line. So if you look, it looks okay, but once you get past the dryer, it's all the tiny liquid line, and that is probably one of the main reasons this thing's struggling so bad. It's a 3-ton system. Running on that small of a liquid line definitely strains the compressor. So I'm going to be replacing that as well. It goes through the house and then goes through into a closet. I'll show you. Alright, so this is the other side of the wall where the outdoor unit is. And there's your line going through this space to get back to the outdoor unit. Shouldn't be too bad. And you can see this liquid line all the way too small. So we're going to be putting back in a 3/8 line. So pretty much every compressor takes the same size for the nuts at the bottom, and it's a half. So I'm going to want to take all the bolts out of the bottom of the compressor. Something else just to make sure it goes a little easier for you. Disconnect your hoses and you can take out both valve stems on each side. That can help any trapped refrigerant while you're heating it up to unsweat the lines can escape really easily. Alright, so when you're unsweating the line, you want to make sure you got your torch and a pair of channel locks. You want to get the channel locks after it starts to get heated up, put it on the line, and do not squeeze. It will end up kinking it, but slowly work it back and forth as it starts to heat up, and the line will pull away. And the reason you don't want to cut the line with tubing cutters is it will shorten the pipe a little too much, and when you have an exact replacement, can be tricky to get it back in. So the easiest way to make sure that you have a really good fit back is unsweating. So I wasn't able to get it on video, but pulling from right here where it's bent up here, there's not really a lot of room. So I ended up having to keep the torch on it since I had the bolts already out of the compressor, and slowly wiggled it like that and it popped out. So sometimes you might have to go to this little loop there and give it a little bit of a pull to be able to get it out. Alright, so now we're ready to get the compressor out. Usually what I do is just get the channel locks on the loop, especially if it's just been welded. And be careful when you set it down, especially if you see a lot of frost on it. There could be some trapped refrigerant. You slam it down on the ground really hard and it'll shoot out everywhere. Alright, time to get the new compressor. Alright, so here it is right here, an exact replacement Copeland scroll compressor. See, It does come with new little rubber feet for it, the grommets, to put those in, but it does not come with a bolt, so you need to make sure you keep up with those. And the compressor is always got nitrogen in it, so once you remove these tabs, the nitrogen should out of it. Like that. Sometimes you got to get a channel lock on one of these, the bigger one. That came out okay. Alright. So sometimes putting the rubber grommets on there can be a little challenging, especially if it's really cold outside. They don't want to give really good, but it's pretty warm today, so you should be able just to pop them right in. And once you get all 4 of those in, then you're going to have a metal sleeve that's going to go right down in the middle of it. Alright, so I got all the grommets on with the sleeves. Once you set this thing in here, you just want to make all of them line up with the holes that's in the bottom, and it should line right up with your 2 lines as well. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so here it is a little close. You can see it needs to move up just a hair. Alright, and then you should be able to work your lines back into it. I'm going to get mine pushed forward a little bit more and get it all secured in there, and I'll start the video back. Alright, so after you get your 2 lines plugged back in, then it's time to put your bolts back in the bottom of it. Time to solder it in. Alright, so I got it soldered in. I usually wait to put the plug in last. I'm going to run this new line. First I'm going to tear this one out, and then we'll pressurize it with nitrogen and make sure we have no leaks anywhere before pulling a good vacuum on it. So first I'm going to do, since it looks like it's going to be taped all the way down to the line, so I'm just going to cut this line somewhere back in here where you can't see it and leave the rest attached to the line set in the wall. Then I'm going to run my new line into the hole and just push it all the way and tape it on both ends, and that should be just fine. So you want to roll your line set out. You'll get the end, step on it, and then just roll it. Alright, so I got everything finished. I reran the new liquid line. I'll show you that now, and I'm just waiting on the vacuum to finish up. Alright, so there's my new liquid line going up through there, and I'll go inside and show you where it came from. And here's my new liquid line. I broke the old one off just back in there, and I was able to get it pushed through the wall. I zip tied it up, put new Armaflex on. Did my my dryer right here and tied it in. This right here is where the bulb is for the TXV. Made sure that was mounted properly, and now we'll go back to the gauges and look at the vacuum. I can't stress how important it is to make sure you do a really good vacuum. This has probably taken about an hour, maybe a little over. But you want to get as close to you as you can to 500. 540 is really good. It usually will take a lot longer than that to get down to 500. This is a short line, so should be pretty good. It's going to take 6 pounds 3 ounces to factory charge, and then add a few ounces for the line set. So I know I did a video after I finished doing the compressor. I did a leak search with bubbles to make sure I didn't miss anything. Filled it with nitrogen. Everything looked good. Also plugged back the plug back into the compressor. Usually the last thing I do before I put the top back. First thing you want to do when you hook up 410A is let out a little bit, get to the little liquid. Wait until you see a little bit of a spray. Screw it back. Clear your. Now we're ready to start charging.